Pascal, time for an oil change. The first step, if you're changing the oil in your car, is to take it for a quick spin and warm it up a bit, because then the oil drains out easier. The second step, if you can, is try and get it up on ramps so you can get in underneath it easier. Now with Pascal, if you looked at him from the side, his bum sticks up in the air a bit. So every time I've changed his oil, I always drive him up on ramps so I can get in at the sump a bit easier. And he's never too much off level to worry about bits of oil being caught in the sump, because the plug's right at the back of the sump cover. So all the oil does get out. So let's get him up on some ramps then. Here's my ramps. Oh Brian, you should always change the oil in the car when it's on a flat level surface. Yeah. And take the oil filler cap off, put it somewhere safe. And then take the dipstick out. Here's the dipstick. Pascal's dipstick is here and here. Now, that will what that will do is when you if you take the oil filler cap off and you take the dipstick out and then you open the sump and the oil drains out, you're not creating a vacuum when the oil glugs out because there's air going in the top of the engine. That makes sense? So it comes out smoother. All right, we need to find the oil drain collector thingy. Technical term, I know. Now Pascal has a very specific little socket thing that fits in the plug in his oil sump, and every time I change his oil I always spend ages looking for it, and then when I find it I always think, do you know what I'm going to do this time? I'm going to put it somewhere safe. How many times do you think I've done that? 0 times. Still a bit warm, Pascal. We might leave it cool down a bit. He's overdue an oil change at this stage, God bless him. But he's a little trooper. And he just doesn't complain. Look at the colour of that oil. Don't lose the oil filler nut. Clean it up, put it somewhere safe. A lot of them have magnets on them. This Pascal doesn't have one. But I think the Jeep has one that's magnetic, so any little bits of metal filings or anything in the engine that's sort of worn off over time will stick to that. Unfortunately, Pascal doesn't have one of them. We're just going to have to trust nothing's in there. Right, let's leave that drain off a bit. Now we're also going to change the oil filter, because we should probably try and do it every time you change the oil. And the oil filter for Pascal is that wee little thing, really cute, but it's on the front of the engine. You can buy loads of tools to help you crack the oil filter. I bought this one, and what happens is, what you do is, it sits around the oil filter like so, and there's supposed to be a ratchet there, and you crank it, and the oil filter comes off. Unfortunately, the first time I used it, I snapped the thing in the inside, so I've had to modify it with a couple of bolts. So all I have to do is get it down onto the filter. So, it's a little bit awkward. Is it on? There she is. And then I just get a bar, put them between the bolts, turn it to crack it loose, and then you should be able to get it off by hand without too much drama. Now be aware, when you take the oil filter off, it's all going to drop oil down below, so make sure your oil collecty tray thing is under there, otherwise you get oil over the floor of your workshop, and that's not good. Yeah, straight into the oil collecty thingy. Lovely. As soon as you get it out, ooh, still warm, turn it up like that so the hole's at the top, because it will still have a bit of oil in it, and it just, used oil gets everywhere. And then you can recycle them, well over here anyway, at your local déchetterie, your tip. So put that somewhere safe. Right, now when you're putting a new oil filter on a car, They all have a rubber seal around here where they... Are you at an angle? They all have a rubber seal. Hang on, I'll fix the angle. That's better. Anyway, they all have a rubber seal around here where the filter joins onto the engine block. So what you do is you get a bit of fresh oil. This is fresh oil. And you put a bead of it around the rubber seal. I don't know why you do it, just maybe forms a better seal. Who knows? It's something my dad taught me how to do. And so it joins, or maybe lubricates the seal or something like that. On that, there we go. That'll do. Just stick it back on. I'm sure to get a light for this. Where's my lights gone? Should be a light around here somewhere. Right. That's better. Right. Oil filter on. There we are. Make sure you don't cross thread it. And then get it as tight as you can with your hand. And put your special oil filter tool thing back on. Tighten it up even more. Don't ask me the torque setting. I have no idea. Where's my bar thing gone? Right. There we go. That'll do. Maybe one more just for look. Oh yeah, plenty tight that is. Try and change Pascal's oil every like 10,000 kilometers ish, because it's good for him. Now, oil capacity of this car is 5.5 liters. So I'm gonna put in some 1040, and that is, how much is that? That's 5 liters. So we stick all that in, check it, and then top up as needed. I need a funnel. Right. Did you replace the oil plug, Brian, in the bottom of the engine? No, you didn't. That would have been a complete disaster. Right, nice fresh oil for you, Pascal. Leave the dipstick out when you're doing this so it doesn't create a vacuum thing. I think that's the way of describing it. And as Nick always says, if you turn it on its side, it won't glug. I'll glug a bit. Right. Nice fresh oil for you, Pascal. Right, and then what you can do is you can empty the old oil into the empty canister and bring it to the dump. Nice and easy. Now, what I'm going to do is roll him back off the ramps so he's on a flat level surface, and check the levels, top up if necessary, bring it for a spin. Job's a good one. You go back in there. Why is there so many flies around today? You can go in there, and we'll reverse you back down, Pascal. Oh, sounds better already. Get the ramps out of the way. Now normally I'd change the air filter as well, but they didn't have any in stock, so that's gonna have to wait till I can get one. Right, Pascal, how are we looking? Not too bad, Pascal. I'd say another half a litre will do you. Right, I'm gonna call that job done. So that's job done, really. It's always easier to add a bit more oil if you need it, rather than try and take out too much oil, or take out oil if you put too much in. So don't worry too much if you don't hit the mark on the dipstick straight away. I'm gonna let it settle for a bit, then I'm gonna take it for a spin, and then I'm gonna check them again and see how we're looking. So I'm gonna end the vlog there. So thank you very much for watching today's vlog. It's been a bit of a messy one, but a very satisfying one, I think. These rainstorms are coming in pretty regularly, so I think I might hold off till tomorrow before I can finish that pond and clear up all the other bits and bobs, because I think tomorrow's going to be a little bit better, he said, hopefully. So thanks for watching. I do hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon.